Hey everyone, before we jump into the podcast, I want to talk about something that has changed my practice. So, murmurs were always so tough, especially for me. They're subtle and they're often masked by noise. And now that I work in primary care in the wellness space without the safety net of continuous EKG, I found that I was second guessing myself a lot until I started using Echo. So, with Echo's digital stethoscope, and it has a built in I feel like my own cardiology consultant. Echo combines the stethoscope you already know with the advanced features that make a difference because it amplifies heart and lung sounds up to 40 times. It cuts out background noise and it uses AI to detect murmurs and AFib. And you can even record and share sounds for better collaboration. And quite frankly, if somebody doesn't believe you, you have it on your app on your phone. So it's FDA cleared, trained on over 4 million heart sounds, and providers who use it are twice as likely to detect heart disease. I don't second guess myself anymore. And I trust Echo so much that I worked with their team to create a special offer just for our listeners. Right now, you can get $50 off plus a customizable chest piece cover at echohealth.com/Catie. Your purchase is HSA and FSA eligible and may qualify for CME reimbursement. Plus, Echo guarantees that you'll detect heart and lung conditions more confidently. If you don't, return it for a full refund. So go to echohealth.com/Catie for $50 off plus a free chest piece cover. And that's EKO health.com/Catie, CATIE. Now back to the podcast. Hi, it's Catie Harris, and this is an episode of the Nursepreneurs podcast. And today we have Andrew Newlenden on with us from Functional Medicine Marketing in beautiful Colorado.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, really great to have you. So why don't you give us a little bit of background about you? How did you get into this space and what were you doing before this?
Yeah, for sure. So, right after my wife and I got married, we started another business actually. So since we've been married, we're actually coming up on 22 years. We've always had some kind of a business, very entrepreneurial minded. After getting married, in high school, I was a landscaper. So we started a landscaping company here in Colorado Springs. And my favorite part, so we had it for 10 years before we sold it. And my favorite part was always two things, either the 3D landscape design, I love the creative aspect, or the marketing. Loved just kind of being able to communicate to people and figure out their pain points and communicate to them in different platforms. My degree is in public speaking, so I always love being able to connect with people. After we sold the landscaping business, we kind of dabbled in a few different things, and finally we're like, you know what? Let's just buckle down. Let's do this marketing thing. And so about almost 10 years ago, we started in the marketing space, just kind of full time, starting a business there. A different name at the time than functional medicine marketing. And through that journey, we really were able to develop a lot of just really good systems and strategies. And then with the help of personally, with the help of a functional medicine practice, very similar to what you have and a lot of your listeners have, we were able to turn our own health around completely. We had all the normal symptoms when you're in at the time, it would be nice to be back there, but we were in our, early 30s, mid 30s, and just all the symptoms start creeping up. And my wife started, perimenopause type symptoms, and I gained weight, and I got allergies, never had allergies before. My asthma was horrible, and it just, you're popping Tums all the time and ibuprofen, and I'm like, something's got to change. And we've always been pretty open to those things, but we finally got desperate enough to really turn our health around, and just life changing, just light bulbs going off, completely just turned our health around. And so we are just deep in the space of our own health and our own health journey. And so about 5 years ago, so 2020, really right before the craziness happened with COVID, we thought, you know what? We love functional medicine. We've got this great system of marketing set up. And in the marketing world, it's really good to niche focus down into one target, kind of main target audience. And so we said, you know what? We would love to dive into that functional medicine health world, but we're not practitioners. So what do we know? We know marketing. So we dove in and we started functional medicine marketing 5 years ago, actually. So celebrating our 5th anniversary. So we've helped clinics around the country, and not just functional medicine. Really, that's a very broad term, obviously. So we've done IV clinics, hormone clinics. Just really across the board, aesthetics, even direct primary care practices, just really the kind of the gamut. Anybody that would benefit from marketing that really isn't getting all of their patients from insurance, basically. So any clinic that kind of fits that mold, we've been able to help, and we do it very differently than a lot of other people. And I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to hear about that. But this is such a great topic, and it's funny that you said that because well, a lot of what you said, but one of the things that was most appealing about doing this podcast interview is that you specialize in functional medicine, so the marketing's working. And knowing that you could do marketing in any field, and most, a lot of marketers could do, if they wanted to specialize in something, but there's something very appealing that it just kind of speaks to you. It's like, well, I'm a functional clinic, and so I need a functional medicine marketing team.
Exactly. And it helps a lot. We talk to a lot of people, and they have another marketing agency, and they communicate to me, and they say it feels like I've just spent 75% of my time teaching them about functional medicine, teaching
Mhm.
them about our protocols, teaching them about our services. And when it comes to marketing, especially the type of marketing that we do, there's a lot of content that needs to be created to
Yeah,
communicate not only to people, but also to Google.
right.
So there's a lot that goes into that. So niche focused into those industries really helps us shave off a lot of that learning time that a more general industry agency would have.
Yeah, and it's definitely a good market because most clinicians, myself included, like I know the marketing fundamentals. I've been in marketing for years, but I just hate it. I hate it. Like it's a bane of my existence. Why can't they just line up out the door without me doing anything?
Exactly. It's the old movie. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
And so
no,
many people think if I start my own practice, people will come, and
right.
that couldn't be further from the truth. Unfortunately, because
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. If I had to do what you do and the marketing, that would drive me bonkers. I mean, it's a full-time job. I've got 20 people on my staff,
yeah.
nearly all of them are full-time. I mean, it's a lot of work to do marketing well and to
It
do
is
it.
a lot. Yeah. And the content alone, I mean, you could have a full-time staff for that because, I mean, nobody really knows all the stuff that's out there. I'll say I've got eBoo and people are like, what the hell is that? Then the amount of information that's got to be written and discussed about it. Like
Yep.
I could just have an eBoo clinic, but no, I've got like 60 other things to market. So,
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
all right. So tell us a little bit about what's so special about what you guys do and how that's different.
Yeah, for sure. So what makes us very different is we put SEO at the center of our marketing strategy. So if people aren't familiar, SEO it stands for search engine optimization. The goal is get on that first page of Google, right? If somebody's searching, we'll just say functional medicine for right now. So functional medicine near me, the majority of the clicks are going to go to one of the top listings, whether it's the website or the Google listings, right? Those map listings. So at the center of our marketing strategy is not social media, which is important, but we see social media as more of a support to that SEO. We see ad campaigns as a support to SEO. Why is that? Well, if you can get in front of people that are already searching, they know what they're looking for, and they are ready. So these are hot leads. These are people that they know a little bit of something, and now they're looking for somebody in their local area. There's a lot of people that will see maybe an influencer on Instagram that's talking about functional medicine, and they go, "Oh, this is amazing! I didn't know there was something like that." Then what do? What's the natural journey? Well, more than likely they're going to Google. They're going to Google for a functional medicine practice near me. And so you can actually leverage off of influencers out there and really tap into that by putting SEO at the center of our strategy. Most marketing agencies are really leaning almost primarily onto like a Facebook ad funnel where they're doing a Facebook ad that leads to a landing page that gives a low ball offer that then brings in an email lead, a name and an email, maybe a phone number, so that they can get the discount, whatever it is, and then there's a nurture sequence. The problem is consistently, and it's getting worse over time, that those quality of leads are just really poor. And especially when it comes to functional medicine marketing. So something that's a little bit higher dollar item, it, it it used to work pretty well for, say, chiropractors or maybe IV therapy, because those are lower dollar. You could just go once, you get your IV, maybe a red bed, something like that. Those can work, but even those are starting to not work very well. But for a higher, hormone therapy, you've got, some more of the autoimmune things. Trying to market the same way with just that Facebook funnel, you end up with maybe 50 leads, but they don't call you back. They don't show up. And if they do, they're only showing up for the $29 offer, and they turn out to be really poor patients. A lot of times, we'll have clients that had done that in the past, and they say, we call them and they don't even know who we are. They don't even know what we're talking about. And it's getting more and more consistent. There is a way to use social media, obviously, but it really is much better seen as a support to SEO. So our primary goal is, let's get you in front of people that are already searching, and then we support that with all of our other services.
Yeah, and then I mean that's brilliant, because that's really what and I've done all of those things that you've just said.
Of course.
Did the lowball offer, and you get the lowball patients, and then you can't do something for $20 and then turn around and be like, well, the rest of it's 3,000.
Exactly.
So they just go find another clinic to get part two for $20, and that's what they
Yeah.
probably should do. It's probably smart. But at
Yeah.
some level, it just doesn't make any sense for me.
Right.
And I don't want to attract those people. And it seems like the lower level type offers, the people that they're pulling in have like these really intense problems too that need a very focused approach. And which ends up being expensive.
Yeah, it also seems like the demographic, the type of person that's going to go for that lowball offer isn't going to be the one to make the lifestyle changes that they have to make when it comes to, we're talking about some major, like getting to the root cause of their health issues, and it is never just a magic supplement. It's not like functional medicine instead of traditional pills. It's okay, no, we just got magic supplements. No, 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 no. We got to kind of get down to the brass tacks here and really make some life changes and habits. So our goal is not to get you a whole bunch of leads. Our goal is to get you a few really much more high qualified leads. So it takes less time during the sales process, and they turn out to be a better patient that's more likely to actually change their life and change their habits. And in some ways, it's better for them to pay a higher amount because they commit more to themselves. Have you found that as well? If somebody
Yeah,
pays
yeah,
more, they do better.
absolutely. And on the reverse of that, where we don't want the lowball patients coming into the clinic and wanting everything for $20, like on the other end of that, like you can't expect your marketing company to put out a magical Facebook ad, because there is no magical Facebook
Thank you.
ad.
Exactly. I say that all the time. There's no magic pill for marketing either. It's just like you would tell a patient what took you 45 years to cause the
Oh,
problem,
man.
right?
Yeah.
You don't just solve in a week or one to supplement, or I ate healthy once. I don't know why,
Yeah.
I exercised
It didn't work.
and that's really the foundation for SEO to work. It needs time, because SEO is organic. Google doesn't trust easily. So we really have to have a comprehensive program to really catch Google's attention over time. I always tell people it's better to do what you can do long term rather than burning out really fast. So
Right.
instead of just, hey, I got my tax return, I got some money back. Look, I'm going to dump this in, and we're going to turn this around in a month or two. No, 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 no. It's better to split that out. What can I feasibly do for a whole year? What can I do for the next few years? And then build from that and
Right.
start adding on services. So it's important to me, kind of the same thing. I don't want to ever overpromise. I never want to say we're going to get you 30 new patients in 30 seconds for 30 cents. Right?
I've seen those ads.
Yes, thank you. As soon as I said it, I'm like, okay, she's seen those before. They're everywhere. One time I went through and I just decided, okay, I'm going to take a screenshot every time I'm scrolling on Instagram. Every time I see one of those ads, I'm going to take a screenshot. Just so you know, if you take a screenshot, the algorithms on Instagram say, okay, you want a lot of that. So I think it was 75
Oh,
in
wow.
about 24 hours that I saw these ads, and they were for marketing agencies specifically, most of them for healthcare, something along the lines of healthcare, and they were all these monstrous claims of 30 new patients in 30 days or your money back. Last year I saw one. They said if we don't get you 30 new patients in 30 days, we'll buy your business.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what? I mean, maybe they'll offer you $50 or something, but
There's gonna be, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, they'll buy it for $50. Yeah, there's somebody else out there that was like, if you don't generate $75,000, then we'll give it to you or something ridiculous. But I've heard that there's like all these things in there that make it absolutely impossible to,
they're never, yeah, they'll never
yeah.
do
So then
that.
it's just like, well, this is a bunch of bullshit, you know?
Exactly. I mean, you know, as a nurse out there, a nurse with a business, you would never say those types of things to your patients.
Oh
Like if
God,
you
no,
just do
yeah.
this thing, you're going to lose 100 pounds in a week. Like,
Yeah, and I've seen that too, and you're like, come
impossible.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If it sounds too good to be true,
It is.
it
Yeah.
100% is. Yes. So yeah, so we really kind of go. My goal in developing and building functional medicine marketing was to go opposite of what was currently in the industry for marketing. We don't ask people to sign a contract. We just go month to month. We don't have any setup fees, nothing like that. We are daily available. I'm again, we have 20 people on our staff, but I still give all of my clients my personal cell number so they can text me anytime. I don't know how many times I've heard, I reached out to my marketing agency and it's been 3 weeks.
That's been great.
I'm what? Like if it's been 3 hours, I'm starting to like get a little antsy. Like I got to get back to my people here. So we just try to do everything a little bit differently. We set the expectation very differently. Our services are kind of flipped on their heads where we're putting SEO first. And then I have a little side note. I call it the trifecta. These are the three best marketing strategies that every practice needs to have in some way. Maybe not starting out, but eventually this is where you want to get to. Three primary marketing strategies that's going to get you in front of people the best. So it's SEO at the top, and then Google ads and Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, those ads are very different than that funnel that we talked about.
Right.
Those ads we see as a support to SEO. So we're driving traffic to the website. We're getting awareness out there because over here, you got SEO and Google ads. That's getting in front of people that are searching. They know something. They've got a need, and they're searching. On this side, there's this whole mess of people out there that for functional medicine, for example, they've never even heard of functional medicine, or they don't know what it is. They don't know if it connects to their symptom or condition. And so we use this more at top of the funnel, just kind of creating interest. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Something, and everybody can kind of tap into this. If you do anything related to hormones or thyroid right now, that is really hot term that a lot of people are like, I'm gaining weight, I can't lose weight, must be my thyroid or my hormones. Whether it is or not, people are very much aware of that. And so, and they're going to their doctor and getting their labs done. And what comes back? Normal.
Great.
Everything's normal. You're totally fine. The problem is those normal levels, they're way down here.
Yeah.
They're so low that they still feel all of these symptoms. So tapping into that, and we're tapping into that with our Facebook and Instagram ads, catching that attention of, did you go to your doctor? And your doctor says your hormones and your thyroid are normal, but you're still feeling all of these symptoms. Hey,
Right.
we can help in functional medicine, or hormone therapy, or whatever it is, just so people kind of know. That's kind of an example of how we're catching attention. We send them to the website, which supports SEO as far as getting traffic and people spending time on the website. So
Right.
that's kind of I call that the trifecta. You still need organic social media. You need emails. Obviously, you got to have a website. You need website maintenance, but those are all real foundational, just support services. And we do all of those. Something that I kind of come against a lot is people feel like if I could just post on Facebook and Instagram enough, if I could just post the right stuff, I would just have a line out the door.
You're right.
And let me give you a statistic. This blows my mind. So a couple of years ago, there's a statistic that says you'll be lucky on Facebook. You'll be lucky if you reach 5% of your followers with an organic post. On Instagram, you'll be lucky if you reach 9% of your followers. The problem is those are people that already follow you.
Mm-hmm.
These are not new people. You're barely reaching people that follow you. I just looked up a 2025 statistic a little bit ago, and it has dropped drastically. It's actually
Oh, wow.
2.6% of your Facebook followers and 4% of your Instagram followers. So if you've got 100 followers, you'll be lucky if you reach 2.5 people on Facebook, right? 2.5 people. If you have 1,000 followers, 25 people.
Yeah.
So buying, and I see this a lot. Okay, we need somebody to do social media, social media, social media. We're going to hire somebody. We're going to make somebody in the office do it. And we're going to put all this pressure on them to reach new people with organic posting on Facebook and Instagram. And it's just not possible. And it
Right.
has nothing to do with your content. Now, you can get a little more reach if you get a video that gets shared, but that is just, it's hit or miss. You're fighting against the algorithms. So why do we need social media? Why do we need those organic posts? Let's talk about the journey a little bit. So they hear about functional medicine wherever it is, or whatever service that you're offering. They hear about it. They go, what's the most trusted platform? Google. If they're looking for a local practice clinic, they're going to Google it. Almost hands down, almost every time. So they're going to Google it. They're going to go to your website. They're going to search around, and everybody's asking, do you help me with my thing?
Yeah.
Right? And so you got to tell them very fast up at the top of the homepage, yep, we help with your thing. And here's how to get it. And that's a whole nother discussion about optimizing for conversion rate on your website. But the kind of that back to that journey, they'll kind of skim around on your website a little bit. And then what do? They go check out your social media. And if you haven't posted in 6 months, you immediately subconsciously lose a little bit of trust and authority, because they haven't posted in 6 months. I wonder if they're still in business.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right? So you have to have some posts, but don't stress yourself out, or the poor little girl in the front office that's trying to post,
You
because
haven't brought in $100,000 worth of
what's
business.
wrong with you? So instead of trying to become an influencer because you are up against massive algorithm problems, not that being an influencer would be bad. The problem with being an influencer is, you're going to get people around the world. So tap into the influencer that's already out there, post some of that same content, mention them. Great. Absolutely. But focus more on SEO at the primary. The problem is SEO is super not sexy. It's as far as marketing strategies go, the people go SEO and they go, oh,
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on. And I totally get that. And that is a hard thing about SEO, because there's so much going on in the back end and behind the scenes, that there's a lot of marketing agencies that have ruined it for us by saying they're doing SEO when they're doing just the bare minimum. That's not going to move the needle anyways.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that's huge, and you're right. Like that's exactly the journey that people go on is, they find you because they found you on Google to the website and then to social media. And I've definitely have been on some social media where I was like, oh gosh, yeah, it's embarrassing. There's got to be something.
You
And
gotta have something. That's a good time to be on brand. Use your
right,
colors, your logo,
right.
make videos. Videos, absolutely make videos. Not because you're going to get a whole bunch of new patients that see you directly, but as it's an excellent support again to the website.
Yeah. And I have like I have an app that we'll play with, and we can string a bunch of videos together because I was always like, well, how do people put all these videos together? Because it takes like I feel like it takes me 40 minutes to post one thing,
Yeah,
you know. But
totally.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and there's some great tools. There's some great tools out there for that. It's just remembering, it's remembering how organic social media fits into the puzzle. Uh, and 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 I have a lot of people, they come to me and say, okay, do Google ads work? Yes, Google ads work in conjunction with SEO and Facebook ads and your website and everything. And so we'll okay, well, let's do it. Let's do it, all of it. And so we dive in and they go, okay, I just want to see what's working the best, and I want to get rid of the things that aren't working. And I tell them, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's it's a full puzzle. It's a puzzle. Or it's like your health. It's like, well, is exercise working? Nah, it's not working. Let's chuck it. Is eating healthy working? It'll be fine. Just eat Twinkies as long as you're working out really hard. No, no,
right.
no. It all works together. Same thing with marketing, but there's always the cash flow problem. Okay, so I don't have unlimited money. Maybe you've only had a practice for maybe you're just starting out. What are the what's the non-negotiables? What's the best? How do I set myself up for success? You need a great website. Now, there's a lot of different platforms out there. If at all possible, I recommend WordPress with a builder called Elementor. And the reason being is you still have the opportunity to edit on the front end, just like Squarespace or Wix. So it's real user friendly. So you don't have to know how to code or anything like that. You can just go in, you can make changes and edits and add pages, and it's nice and simple. But with the WordPress piece, it's a lot more capable for integrations and more that advanced marketing where I come in, especially with SEO. There's a lot more we can do. Squarespace and Wix and GoDaddy, all of those, to be user friendly, they've limited and cut out some of the capabilities for some more of this, other stuff. But in the end, you need a website. So
Right.
Squarespace and Wix is great. If somebody hires us and they've got a Wix site, I never make them build a new website. We work with any platform, and so you've got to have a website. Focus on good content. Make sure it's organized well. Google loves to see content, so don't try to just minimize down to just headlines or something.
Right.
People only read headlines. I get it, but Google reads everything, and so feed the beast with a bunch of content. So you've got to have a website. You definitely need a Google listing. Now, the question is, a lot of your listeners probably do virtual practice, and they're thinking, well, I can't have a Google listing because I don't have a brick and mortar building. And that's not true. What you can do is you can set it up. You need a physical address to set it up, but then you don't show the address. You just show a service area. So you can use your home address. I have a business at my home address. I stole my dad's because I got a couple businesses. So I stole my dad's address. And then again, we just show service areas. So then you can say, okay, I'm going to set this up. I've got this address here in Colorado Springs, but I don't want anybody showing up at my house. That's
Right.
not helpful. So I'm going to show, okay, I service people in Colorado, California, Orlando, or the whole US or whatever it is. So those you absolutely have to have. You got to have a website, got to have a Google listing. You need social media pages. Again, we talked about that. You got to have a presence. If you don't have anything, you lose immediately a little bit of a little bit of traction, a little bit of authority. And then as far as okay, what do we do ongoing? I don't have it. Say you didn't have any money for marketing. I can't. I would love to hire Andrew and his team, but I can't. So what do I do? Okay. So here's what you're going to do for SEO, because we talked about the benefits and we talked about it. It's out there. There's a bunch of technical things that you can do, but in the end, the thing that's going to move the needle for you doing it yourself is going to be content. So if you talk to people every day, you know what they're asking, you know the symptoms that they have or the conditions that they have. Write about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be too chintzy about it. You want 900 to 1100 words on each page and in each blog. So you want plenty of content. You're going to write about it. You're going to repeat that keyword. Make sure you mention multiple times where you help people. So instead of just saying, we do functional medicine, you're going to want to say, we do functional medicine in Colorado Springs. And we also service, surrounding towns like Falcon and Castle Rock. And so you're going to talk about, you want to talk about the areas. So SEO is telling Google what you do and where you do it. You write content. Make sure it's clean, it's clear, and it's answering the questions that you talk about every day. And then you're going to go over to your Google listing. Not too many people know about this and they don't use it. There's two things that you can use on your Google listing. One, you can ask and answer your own questions. You don't have to wait around for somebody to ask a question. People are even less reaching out and asking those questions. But as the owner, you can go in. You don't have to use a different account or anything. It just says the owner asked, and then start talking about, hey, we do this service. We do bioidentical hormone therapy, and say, what is bioidentical hormone therapy? And then write a paragraph or two and answer it. So you can ask and answer your own questions. That's excellent, an excellent way to tap into some local SEO on your Google listing. And then the second thing on your Google listing is you can do what's called updates. They kind of look like a Facebook post, and rarely do people see them. Normally it's kind of more towards the bottom. A lot of people might do an offer or something down there, but instead what you're going to do is you're going to write kind of the same thing that you wrote in the question and the answer. What is bioidentical hormones? And answer that question and then link it to that page on your website. And you want to do 4 of those a month. They're kind of like Facebook posts, but you don't have to be creative. You don't have to dance. There's no TikTok video. We're not trying to, none of that. You don't
Thank
have to
God.
be clever. Like I said, rarely do people ever see these posts, but Google eats them up because nobody's using them. And
Mm-hmm.
Google loves itself. And Google listings are a Google platform. So you play by Google's rules. Google, in a sense, is going to like your listing more than it's going to like your website. We want to tap into both. So 2 things you can do is ask and answer your own questions, and and then do 4 updates a month. You can do them all at once. Batch your time. Ask and answer 4 questions, and then do 4 updates, linking back to different parts of the website. So again, we're creating this connection about what you do and where you do it between your website and your Google listing. And then you can repurpose that content that you wrote on your website that you put on your Google listing and put that on Facebook and Instagram. So that's just kind of foundational. What can I do on my own? That's a great place to start. And then the second thing I would say is everybody. I would say 98% of people that I talk to grew their practice with word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny to me because they'll come to me and say, you'll never believe this, but I actually grew my practice with word of mouth. And I just have to kind of smile. Wow, that's amazing. Every practice grows by word of mouth. It's the low-hanging fruit. So what you're doing with the website and SEO and the Google listing, that's building for the future. Tap into that word of mouth. Talk to your friends. If you're just starting a practice, you need a beta group. You need
Yeah.
to either give it away for free for 10 people just to prove that you can do it, prove it to yourself, prove it to those people, and just say, hey, if this works, I need you to leave me a Google review. I need maybe a video testimonial that we can use, something like that. So that's really lean into that. Even though I'm a digital marketer, I know, and I tell people all the time, don't put all your eggs in the digital marketing basket.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I'm wrote down my to-do list, right? Make sure I have those things done. And
Yeah.
I do have an SEO. Like I've always valued SEO more so than I do know social media is important and we do get random shit up there, but it's the SEO between the stuff that you're talking about, and it's, I'm still learning stuff. So the four updates and the answer your own questions, I'm going to do that later. Um,
Great.
and then, I focused a lot on YouTube as well, trying to,
Absolutely.
as an SEO. But so is this all the stuff that you do for people? Like, so
Absolutely.
if somebody's sitting there going, "Oh my God,
Yes.
let me just pay this my problem away."
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And what I talked about is about, it's like 1.5% of what we do when it comes to SEO.
Oh my God.
It's a small, it's a small little piece. We haven't even talked about all the technical things that you can do on a website. And it just kind of, and then content strategy and the keyword research that we go into. So there's so much that we can do. In fact, if anybody's interested, I do a free kind of SEO evaluation video. So I'll actually walk through somebody's website. It's about 10 minutes long. Sometimes I get kind of wordy and excited and it goes to 15 to 20 minutes, but I just walk through the website and I kind of talk about some technical things. Then I talk about content, especially what's kind of trending in 2024 and how to figure that out. The basics of how to write the content. And then I walk through that Google listing and kind of talk about that as well. So if anybody's interested, I do a free video. It's not some big sales pitch or anything like that. It's my goal, my mission for our company is to help practices just like yours, help practices help more people. And
Yeah.
if we can do that by you hiring us, great. If I can just be a resource, free, I love to make videos. You can tell I like to hear myself talk. And so I make a lot of videos. So some people just say, "Hey, I heard about this," or "What's working for this?" I love to talk. I love to educate because I can fulfill my mission whether you hire me or not. So that video, you can go to our website. It's under resources. You can sign up for that. And it's free. Again, I'm not going to push you in any way. It's not big, some big sales pitch or anything like that. It's real practical.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think it's such the way to go because yeah, even in functional medicine, like there's so many parallels. It's like, you can present the picture and, this is what we can do, but if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. Like here's some things you can do. But if you do have the money, this is what we can help you with. And you don't have to worry about doing it yourself, right? Or getting it right. And
Yeah.
this is one of those things and I know a lot about what goes into technical SEO, and I just, I can't give you my money fast enough because
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. And we handle any website platform. So, where you do schema markup on a WordPress site is going to be different than where you do it on a
Right.
web.
Which is great because most places would, insist you switch over to WordPress and rebuild your website. And there you've just blown like 5 to 10,000, just redoing your entire website.
Well, and then a lot of agencies now are doing this kind of basically you rent the website. You to hire this agency, they make you, have a new website, but it's only $200 a month or $500 a month,
That's a lot.
whatever, you know. But as soon as you want to leave said company, you lose the
Got
website.
nothing. Yeah.
Like I had a client come to me and they couldn't keep their website, and so we were going to have to build a new website. And the other company took all of the SEO content that they wrote. I was appalled. They
Yeah.
they paid for SEO content for and they didn't get to keep it. It boggles my mind. So we go the other way again, kind of back to that. Let's turn it on its head a little bit. Anything that we create for anybody, they get 100% access to. They own it. They have all the passwords. If we do ad campaigns, we use your ad accounts, so there's full transparency on how much you're spending, rather than giving me your ad spend, and then I say, well, yeah, we're putting $1,500 towards your Google ads. But you have no idea if all of that money's going there. So full transparency. And then if we ever part ways, you keep everything. And it's, again, our mission is it's, I used to play volleyball a lot, and there's a term called bettering the ball. So if it's way out of bounds, you may not hit it perfectly back over the net, but you can better the ball and get it to where somebody else can, it's the process. So I always see what we do as part of the process. We're going to better the ball. So for the time that, whether we're on this podcast or I'm making a video for somebody or somebody hires us for 5 years, we're going to better it so that at the end of that time, for whatever reason, things are better. So that's kind of our mission. And I love your podcast and the fact that you're helping people connect the dots. So we've got nurses that have all of this wisdom and knowledge, and they went to school and they can change people's lives. But to have a practice, you got to wear that, you got to wear the business hat, and there's a lot of hats.
There's a lot of hats.
Yeah,
And
I would
that's
say to anybody listening that is kind of thinking about taking the jump, you 100% should do it, but know that when it comes to marketing, you can't just build it and they will come. You need to count the cost, and you need to be ready, because if you do it and you're in it for the long haul, and you have some budget to build, statistically, it takes 2 years before you're making money.
yeah.
That's the small business, way in America. So it takes 2 years to make money. So if you need a practice, your business to put diapers on the kids, or food in their mouths in the first month, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Do something else. Get a good, steady income, and then start building on the side, doing virtual, whatever it is, so that once your side gig makes more money than your day gig, then you can kind of pare it down that way.
Yeah,
Speak from experience.
and I second that experience.
Exactly.
But one of the things I do love is connecting people with people like you, because there is a lot of marketing crap out there, and it's so refreshing to just find people that are good in this space and really want to help, just like the nurses want to help their clients as well. So
Yep, for sure. No, that's fantastic. I just really appreciate the time. As you can tell, I get excited about it. And so any chance I get to talk, I'm always happy.
absolutely. So if people do want to get in touch with you, where do they go? What do they do?
Yeah, for sure. Go to our website. So functionalmedmarketing.com, functionalmedmarketing.com. There's lots of resources on there. Got some videos. I have some different resources that people can download. My wife and I actually wrote a book, if anybody's interested, Digital Marketing and SEO for Functional Medicine Practices. You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to our website and download it for free. We got a couple checklists on there, also that SEO evaluation video. Or if somebody's like, you know what, I don't want to even think about it. Yeah. Andrew knows, I don't need to know. Right, kind of front and center on our website is you can get our price list. And sign up for that. And I'll actually make you just a quick introduction video personally, and then kind of ask some questions so that we can make sure we're a good fit, and know how we can really personalize your program. So, yep, our website, functionalmedmarketing.com.
Love it. Thank you, Andrew, so much for being on the podcast with us today.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.